Hi, Maddie and Eli. Daddy here. It's the hottest day of the year so far, and I've just done my first morning's work at my new job, which went very well. Today, I thought I'd tell you some funny stories about being recognised, myself being recognised, and me recognising or failing to recognise someone else. Um, there's a reason for this, and this will shortly become clear. Um, you get recognised, of course, as a musician a lot within the music community, in opera houses or venues where you haven't performed before. However, that I'm not counting any of them because that's in a professional capacity. But I've been recognised about three times randomly, but the only two that particularly stand out, um, and I can only imagine what it's like for like celebrities who get recognised all the time. But my two favourite ones were I'd done a concert at the then London Piano School, which of course doesn't exist anymore, in Hackney. And then about 3 or 4 days later, I went into a fish and chip shop called The Brothers, which is quite a well-known fish and chip shop in Stratford. The Brothers Fish and Chip Shop. Whether it's run by a pair of brothers or not, or ever was, I do not know. But anyway, it's quite well known around there. And yeah, so I went in. And I'm queuing up, and the guy, one or two in front of me in the queue, gets his portion of fish and chips, turns round, and he's paid. And as he turns around, he sees me in the queue and goes, "Gosh, you're Ezra Williams. I saw you sing in Hackney a couple of days ago." Utterly random. And yeah, just completely bizarre. And he was nothing to do with music. He'd actually hardly ever been to a concert. He was in the building trade, I think, and his girlfriend had dragged him along to this recital because it was kind of seen as a cultured date thing to do. And it happened to be one that I was singing, I think it was Mahler, Songs of a Wayfarer at. But anyway, that's just a strange one. And my other favourite one, although I do feel a little bad about this, was actually, funny enough, it was your mum's. It wasn't a graduation, it was like a prize giving ceremony because she'd achieved, I think it was level 3 of her accountancy degree. And yeah, so she'd achieved this goal, which I think was second or third year or something she'd done it. And it was a great thing in that career. Anyway, so I think you were in utero at the time. You hadn't been born yet. But she was invited to come to this thing and receive her prize and her certificate of level 3. And so she said, "Do you want to come along?" And I thought, yeah. It's this little college down off Goulburn Road. I can't remember what it's called, but it must be some West London college or something or other. So, excuse me. So, yeah, we went along to this. And of course, this was, your mum's day. This was a great thing. She'd achieved something really, really cool. So I was, very much just second fiddle, staying in the background. And then, atrocious timing this was. Some woman that was either affiliated to the college or had done a course there and was there to pick up some prize herself, came over and said, "I know you. I've seen you on stage. You're Ez Williams." And I felt really bad because your mum was right there and the day should have been about her. But, yeah, we got over it. And I said, yeah, hello, thank you very much. And continue to enjoy the music and all that. So that was a little awkward. Anyway, the reason why I'm telling you this is because yesterday I was out on what I call the Greenway, which is actually not called that officially. It's the South Parkside Walk or something, which I do every day, or have been doing most days during the lockdown. And it goes from quite near me on Tollington Place, or kind of Finsbury Park type area, and goes all the way up through Crouch End up to Highgate. And then if you walk along the road for a little bit, you can then go into Highgate Woods and carry on through that up to Alexandra Palace. It's a beautiful walk, really, really, really nice. And I sometimes vlog along there for you. So obviously I have a computer with me, and as I am talking to now, and yeah, and I sit down, I find a nice place where there aren't too many people, and I'm going to be fairly inconspicuous, and yeah, and do a vlog. So anyway, yesterday I was doing this vlog for you, and I kind of look up, as I do from time to time when people come past, just to check that there isn't a large dog heading my way or, anything else. And also you have to be careful if people are talking loudly on their phone as they come past, because then you have to cut that out of the vlog and whatever. So, in fact, most of the edits you see on these vlogs are because someone's walked behind me and I have to cut them out and retake them. But anyway, enough of that. So yes, I look up and there's this beautiful girl, very, very gorgeous girl. Looked very much like the actress Gwyneth Paltrow, when Gwyneth Paltrow was somewhat younger. And she's looking at me, really smiling. And she's kind of stood there. I kind of look around. Where's her dog? Why is she just standing there? Anyway, so I look down and carry on talking to camera. And about a minute later, I look over, and she's still there. So, what do you do in a situation like that when you've got a beautiful woman smiling at you, quite blatantly at you? You sort of offer a kind of one smile back and wonder, what's the motivation behind this? And, I don't get regularly approached and chatted up by people who look like famous film stars. But anyway, she started coming over. And I thought, oh boy, here we go. She might be like this stunning nutcase. And so, yeah, you get ready to put on the damage control face and deal with whatever might be coming your way. However, she comes over, and it turns out she recognizes me from these vlogs. Or not actually these vlogs, but from the comedy show, so the Kitchen Secrets and all that. And she'd been perusing YouTube, I guess, during this lockdown, and she'd seen me, and she said, oh, I really like what you do, and that's really cool. So she wasn't a nutter. That was quite a relief. But funnily, talking of Gwyneth Paltrow, I was booked some years ago with a soprano, who's now a mezzo, I think, to come and sing at the Arts Club Dover Street, an evening of kind of, you do half an hour, say, set of opera favourites. And then you'd have 45 minutes off, and then you do another half hour, and then finally a third half hour. And you varied the set a little bit each time, but predominantly it was the same set, because it's a very, very posh kind of venue. Well, they have a bar on the first floor, and then they've got this huge posh restaurant, and then they've got a club in the basement, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I knew nothing about the Arts Club Dover Street. All I knew is I'd been booked to come and do this set of gigs there. I didn't know who ran it, who owned it, or anything about it. So I turn up, and we're a little bit flustered because the room, it's literally wall-to-wall really famous people. I think it was just after the Olympics. It would have been about 2013. Lots and lots of famous athletes there, some famous actors. I don't think I saw any musicians, but anyway, generally recognisable TV faces at the very least. So anyway, we've done our first 2 sets or something, and a soprano looks at me, and the people are still talking, so it's kind of loud. You can't quite gauge how much effort or energy you're putting into it. So you kind of you're taught at times like that just to relax and let the voice go and not push. But the situations when you're performing in bars like that can be a little stressful. And I should add, we were getting paid an absolute fabulous fee to do this, but the venue was war. Anyway, so. Yeah, we've only got one more set to do, and the soprano looks at me and goes, oh, should we have a drink? Because, God, it's got a whole last one to go, and by this point it was after 10 at night, I think. And I go, okay. So I look around, and all the waitresses are wearing exactly the same outfit, and so I kind of, put my hand up and beckon one over. I say, could you possibly grab us a drink each, please? He said, of course, on the house. What would you like? And I said, because I looked at the bar briefly earlier, and I think something like, I'll have a Brooklyn Pale Ale, I think it was, that I ordered. And I think my soprano ordered a gin and tonic or something like that. But anyway, so I sent off this waitress to go and get our drinks. And I turned round, and the soprano is looking at me like, what did you just do? And I said, what? What's the matter? Because I was still in the performance mode. I simply wasn't taking on board who or what I was talking to. She said, that's Gwyneth Paltrow. You've just ordered an Oscar-winning actress to get you a drink. And I went, she's a waitress. She went, no, she part owns this place, and she happens to help out here. Turns out that when Gwyneth Paltrow had young kids, they're much older now, she didn't do films for about 4 or 5 years or something, and she was joint running this club. She actually had an office there. She technically properly worked there. And she was there dressed exactly the same as the other waitresses, and I didn't even clock because I didn't know she ran it. If I'd known she'd run it, if I'd known she was running it, helping run it, I would have probably been a little more on the ball. But as it was, yeah. So I asked Gwyneth Paltrow to get me a drink, which made me feel incredibly stupid. Um, Actually, talking of stupidity, um, there's a quote of Vic and Stein that I really, really like, which is, if a man tells me he has seen everything, I have no reason to disbelieve him. But if he tells me it is his superior wisdom that has enabled him to see everything, then I know he is a fraud. I think this is absolutely sound. I really do. I think it's a fabulous quote. And and yeah, and I often think, actually, from Robin Williams's Genie, if I had three wishes, what would I wish for? And I do think, I mean, obviously, with the first two, I'd use obviously for great things for you, my family, and possibly material things I could leave. But the third one would be probably to be genuinely stupid, or at least simple. And people often, my friends often go, "Oh, don't say that, Ezra. That would be terrible." And I think, yeah, but you can say that because you're not. If you were genuinely stupid or simple, you'd be happy to be that. And I've always felt that. And I've always thought that would mean that I wouldn't, but it's not that I wouldn't care as much, but things wouldn't perhaps hurt as much or mean as much. And of course, I'm never the first one to turn away. That's always been one of my big maxims in life. Never be the first one to turn away. But anyway, so that's enough waffle for today. And Daddy loves you always. And I shall speak to you very, very soon. Mwah.